Hey, um, if you're watching this, then there's a chance that you are either watching it on YouTube, uh, which is why it's in landscape, or you might also be watching it on Instagram because I'm making this for both sort of personal and uh, channel reasons. So if you're watching this on Instagram and you're just a friend, hi, thanks for watching. Uh, I'm going to be talking about some stuff with regard to the YouTube channel that you might not care about, and that's all right. If you do care about it, if you didn't even know that I run a YouTube channel, I'm going to get into some of that, um, and how I have functioned with my YouTube channel and all that stuff. Long story short is, as of last month, I got diagnosed with autism. And I am saying that with a smile on my face. It's something that I have been sort of approaching myself with for the last year or two and was not actually expecting to be able to get a formal diagnosis for anytime soon. If you're not aware, adult autism assessments are very, very expensive, because it's hard to get any kind of like public funding or stuff like that. So I just ended up getting the money as a gift specifically to get that done. And I know that for a lot of people, that in itself is not a possibility. So I consider myself very lucky and fortunate and privileged is the word to have gotten that opportunity to go and get assessed. Uh, it's a big problem that people being able to know how their brains are wired and know more about how to take care of themselves, the fact that that would be kept behind a paywall is unfortunate, and is not a beef that I have with psychologists. It is a result of people trying to find health and wellness in the context of capitalism. Psychologists gotta make money for their work, and they gotta make that money somehow. But in a perfect world, everyone should be able to get these services regardless of the resources that they have access to. How do I feel about getting diagnosed in the first place? It feels good. It was not surprising, but there was a piece of me that was kind of worried that I would go through this whole process and spend all this money uh, just to get a surprising no back and then have to figure out what else could be the reason that I operate like I do, because I have had this strong sense for a large portion of my life that I do not function in a way that society seems to be accommodating to. My friends and family are very accommodating for it, very, very patient, and I'm very blessed to have that. But there have been enough times, enough occasions in my life, and enough chapters of my life that I have gotten the sense that I do not operate the same way that a lot of other people do. And that has caused problems for me. It's caused problems for other people in my life. And that has caused me to figure out if I can put a name to it, and if I can, then maybe that can get me started on knowing how to approach life in a more realistic fashion and also know how and what I can improve myself, what things I can attribute to brain wiring, and what things I can tell myself that I can actually work on and get better at. I feel like I've already been doing that a little bit, even over the last month. I feel better, which is good. If you're watching this on YouTube and you don't know me as a person, if you have watched the channel for a good amount of time, maybe you got a sense of just how I go about things. Maybe the way that I do most of my content without looking at the camera, because I'm not a big eye contact guy. Maybe you had no idea and you're learning this about me for the first time. Maybe you're one of those silly geese that decided that now that you've learned it, you've decided that you knew it the whole time, that you saw it the whole time, and now you get to say it out loud for everyone to hear that you knew it the whole time. If you really want to give yourself that gold star, I literally cannot stop you. As to how I have been on the channel and how autism has affected how I run this channel has been both a boon and a detriment, which is pretty accurate to, I think, how a lot of people experience autism. In some ways, it is a disability. In other ways, it makes us the unique people that we tend to be. On one hand, I am generally someone that has a hard time in a lot of social situations. I don't know certain social cues. I don't know what's the right thing to say. I don't know how to handle certain situations. But in other cases, I see things and make connections in a way that I think is unique. I think my sense of humor is very, very heavily influenced by my autism. I was talking to the psychologist that was doing my assessment, and they specifically noted my vocabulary and that I often used very, I don't know, flowery language, I guess is the way I would put it. But that seemed to stand out to my psychologist, and I honestly do it mainly because I think it's funny. I think it's really funny to use like really fancy language in contexts where it's simply not necessary. I'm aware that it's not necessary. I'm going to do it anyway. I think it's really, really funny, and that is a large amount of the sort of humor that I do on the channel, especially when I'm playing horror games. I'll be going through things and saying things like, I do not care for this. I know that's a weird thing to say. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I feel the impulse to say it, and then my comedy brain is like, yeah, that's cool. That's weird and esoteric enough that it's funny. I know that I'm doing it. All right? That's my sense of humor. But it's also decided a lot of how I manage the channel, for better and for worse. On one hand, I am so good at not caring what people think of my content. I so often say, well, not often, but I every now and then will say, if you didn't enjoy this, why the heck are you watching? I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing this for me and my friends, because it's fun. And if more people jump on the bandwagon, it's specifically because you like what I'm doing, and you can rest assured that I'm not going to do it any other way for the most part. But it has, been a bit of a weakness in the sense that I don't like the idea of changing how I do things in order to give my channel more traction. Particularly, I hate marketing myself. I don't like doing it. It's not an impulse that I feel. I never think to myself, man, I should probably make a post about having a new video out or update on literally any big social media app other than tweeting out the video that just came out. I don't do anything other than that, and I know for a fact that has probably stunted the growth of my channel at least some. I don't know how to quantify the amount, but it's not a zero amount. And so that element, depending on how the channel goes in the future, that's something that I may need to challenge myself to work on. But something that I am not going to challenge myself to work on and fight my brain chemistry for is the way I approach my videos, which is if I like it, it's good enough to print. I think that's mainly it. I feel good about this. And I know the internet is a mean place to be often, and it hasn't got any less mean over time. And so if watching this and finding out that I am neurodivergent, that I'm autistic, makes you feel like you have license to make fun of me, okay. I've got a thick enough skin. I've been a performer for most of my life, far before I was on YouTube. It's not gonna do anything. It's really not. You're wasting your time. Go do something constructive with your time other than coming into a YouTube comments section where everyone else is going to be saying nice things. You're not going to be the winner in that situation. You're not going to be the clever little boy. But if you yourself are autistic, or you're better yet, if you're also a YouTuber on the spectrum and you're watching this and you want to connect, let me know. It would be great to sort of find that sense of community. That has been one of the other things that I should really work on as a YouTuber, is networking a bit. As per the previous note about social interactions and putting myself out there, I'm not good at that. I would like to be better at that. And so this is myself trying to be better at it. If you see this and you're like, hey, I would like to connect with this person and, be friends, now's the time. All right, I'll be here. I have a hard time approaching people, and then that's on me to get better at myself. I don't know how this video was gonna go. I am riffing. I thought about writing down a list of things to say, like little points, and then I simply didn't, because I over-rely on improvisation. Who's to say at this point? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to parse through what is part of my personality and what is part of my autism, because there's a lot of gray area there, and I like myself overall as a person, and I don't want to put my personality under the umbrella of what is often referred to as a disorder or a disability. My experience of autism, which is very different from how a lot of people experience autism, I don't experience it as much of a disability. There are a lot of things that are harder for me than they otherwise would be. But there are a lot of things that I think it makes me better at. So I think it kind of evens out for me, but I know that that's not the case for every autistic person. Yeah, I don't want to try and suss out what parts of me are part of my disability or part of my disorder, because I feel okay about myself. If there are things I need to work on, that's on me. This is not me saying that I don't consider autism a disorder. That would be stupid. Or a disability. For a lot of people, it is. It just is. For a lot of people, autism makes people simply unable to do certain things, and you should believe them when they say that. For me, there are a lot of things that are made hard, but not impossible. And so I think my journey going forward is going to be figuring out what things I can and should hold myself accountable for getting better at, and what things I should simply accept that I'm always going to have a hard time doing. And I hope that you will be accommodating and patient and gracious with me as I try and figure that shit out. Whether you're watching me on YouTube or you are watching this on Instagram and you are simply a friend. In either case, I appreciate you watching this. If you want to talk, I'm around. And yeah, until next time, thank you. I'll see you later.